Nick cuts crops which have gotten rotten and burns them. Their entire crops have gone to fire. Elle asks Nick, "Is something going inside you? Are you looking for someone?" Morgan says, "He doesn't want to answer. Don't ask him." Elle says, "I want to help you. We are on the same team." Nick asks Luciana where they have reached. Lucy asks if Elle told them the right path. She says, "Yeah, I told you right, but not complete." Elle says, "I'll take your story, will not let you take my van, and will not let you threaten us." Elle takes Nick at Hammer's Point, and all of the others put down their weapons and ask Luciana to stop the vehicle. Elle says, "Plans changed. Keep going." Nick hits her with his knee, runs, and falls over the steering wheel, which leads the truck to fall down the road into an accident. All of them are slightly injured. The door opens, and John gets Morgan. Undeads are coming, and the door is open. Madison gets to Nick and tells him that she is going outside. Nick will go outside with her to help her find supplies. As Nick opens his eyes near a heap of killed undeads, others are trying to get the truck out of the mud. Lucy says she saw a truck in the service yard behind. Victor says, for a dealership, trust is important. They cut Alicia, Lucy, and Victor, and tie Nick to the truck so that they all will return back. Morgan says, "I'll stay here with Nick. My leg will slow you." John tells Morgan to stay aware of Nick and takes the others with him. Nick asks Morgan, "What are you reading?" He asks him to take out something to eat from his bag. He gets his big knife and cuts his handcuffs and says, "Now you can take it on your own." Nick tries to run. Morgan stops him with his wood and says, "I'm not scared." Nick gives him a peanut butter protein bar, which he likes. Nick tells him his name. Morgan says, "I'm going to the road. You do not go further than 5 feet from the truck." He checks his book, Elle's camera, and watches Morgan's footage. Morgan practices on the road. His leg is still hurting. He sees a car incoming. He runs towards the truck, gets inside, and closes it. As that car passes, Nick tries to get outside. In that attempt, the truck's horn gets loud, and Nick runs. Elle kills an undead. All of them find cables. John asks them to gather petrol from vehicles while he'll take care of cables. Victor says to Elle, "What's the use of records when no one will see them?" He asks her, "Why, Elle?" She says, "Because truth is necessary, either heard loud or just once. Tell me your story and know about the flag in return." Alicia says, "Don't know how she's alive?" Lucy says, "I know. She knows everything except this thing of truth." Nick runs far away where he finds blue floras. Madison and Nick leave the stadium and pass through vultures. Mel tells her, "Good luck." He gives them a book to give it back to Lucy. Nick says, "We couldn't have done anything for Charlie. She just had to go." Nick says, "How do you keep your hopes always high?" She says, "I have a trick. I always look for something good." He holds a flower, and an undead approaches. It's 3. They fall over him. Morgan kills them. Nick says thanks. Morgan says, "Due to the horn sound, undeads are coming towards here. We need to find another place." Morgan tells him that others will find them. They will know what happened. They kill 2 undeads. Nick asks, "Why did you help me?" Morgan says, "I don't kill." Madison and Nick reach a place in a truck full of supplies. Mel's brother is taking all the supplies. It's Charlie who has led them here to the supplies. Mel's brother teases Nick with, "I don't keep my family hungry like you." He gets to him and leaves a knife scar. They leave. Morgan changes his bandage. Nick tells him, "Stay away from your karate until you get better." He says, "We need to find a car for you." Morgan says, "You're still looking for El Camino." Nick says, "You'll not understand." He says, "I saw your tape." He asks, "What did you lose?" Morgan says, "I'll not tell you about my life," and leaves. As the others get to the truck, John finds signs and tells them that they have gone that way. Elle says, "We're not going anywhere." She tells John to go and that she'll take care of the truck. Lucy goes behind John, while others stay to help Elle on the term that she will have to take them to that flag's place in her truck. Alicia proceeds with her weapon and kills undeads while Elle covers her with a gun. She gets under the truck, ties the cable, gets outside from the other side, and tells them to pull it. They pull it with a service truck, and it's out. As Morgan is going, he confronts Mel's brother. He asks him to go, but Nick is already here. He sees him and teases him. Morgan stops him. Nick says, "Would you try to stop me in this health?" "You tried." Morgan lets him go. Nick says, "You try to do something good, and something goes wrong. That's why I don't get out of the stadium much." Nick gets inside tanks and attacks him. Morgan is standing outside and then leaves. They both fight, which ends with Mel's brother's horrible death. John checks an undead and says they are nearby. John gives Lucy a toffee. He asks her, "Did you go because you didn't love him?" She replies, "I went because I loved him." Elle's truck gets here and takes them. Morgan is back and sees Nick soaked in blood. He tells him, "The answer to your questions is, I lost my wife, son, friends, and then I lost myself. I met someone, and he helped me to see the importance of life. Nick asks, how? Morgan shows him that same book and says, it's a part of that. Nick reads it. The truck arrives here, and all of them get outside. Lucy goes for Nick. Elle checks her records, which seem all in place. Nick puts the book in his pocket and sits. He's looking at a map. They stop near bluebonnets and walk among them. Nick lies down. As he's looking at them, a bullet hits his chest. It's Charlie. He falls, and she runs. He's bleeding. All of them get to him, but Charlie is gone. He's bleeding heavily. All of them know it. Alicia is crying. His breaths have stopped. They are unable to believe this. So is Morgan, who has tears. Everything has turned rough now, and he's lying here among a field of bluebonnets.